Hello everyone. It's Catherine Middlebrooks at BRB Yoga, and today I want to talk to you about sitting for core health. I get a lot of questions about how to sit properly without putting pressure on your core, your diastasis, making your hips feel worse. So today, sorry, I'm getting a notification. So today I want to really break all of these pieces down. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I talk a lot about the importance of alignment, especially for your core. When we are out of alignment, we end up putting pressure on the already weak parts of our core and make them weaker. Or if you have hip issues, when we are out of alignment, we put a lot of extra pressure on our hips. So I talk about keeping good alignment. But then the question always comes up, well, how then do I relax? How do I sit all day, right? How can I do all of this while in good alignment? So let's talk through all of these. First, I'm going to talk about sitting in a chair. Then I'm going to talk about sitting when you're like hanging out with your kids, playing on the floor. And then I'm going to talk about how to relax, because that is also an important piece. So let's start with a chair, okay? Now, I have a chair here. And the main thing that you want to have when you are going to be sitting for any length of time is back support, okay? So this chair that I have is a really nice chair. It has really solid back support. But the most important thing that I want you to think about is finding your sit bones. So when you are standing, when you bend over, you can feel these little bony protrusions in your bottom. Those are your sit bones. And you want to make sure that when you come to a seat, those sit bones are flat on the chair. If we tend to untuck our pelvis, the sit bones will kind of be behind us. If we are more of a tucker, the sit bones will still be on the chair, but we'll also be sitting more on our tailbone. So you want to avoid those two extremes and really come to the sit bones. Now, I like to start it at the front of the chair because I think it can help you find it, especially if you're a short person. Sometimes you need to sit up at the front of the chair to get your feet on the floor. But then once you have found the proper position, you will want to slide yourself back so that your body can be supported by the back support. It is really hard for most of us to sit without support in good alignment for significant amounts of time. So that's why we use the back support. What do you do when you're sitting in a chair or a couch or something that doesn't have really good back support, or it's more of a bucket seat, like your car, right? Your car, you tend to kind of collapse down like this. Well, in that case, what you want to do is get a small towel, like a hand towel or a pillow, and you're going to want to just roll it up and slide it right behind your low back so that it keeps you in this relatively neutral spine position. Okay, those of you that are super short, this is hard. It's hard to maintain good positioning because your feet are dangling in the air, right? So if that's you and you work at a desk job, it's a great idea to get something like some yoga blocks and just bring the floor a little bit closer to you. I can set my feet on the blocks. I am not short, so this is not my struggle, but I know a lot of people that are short do struggle with this. You can put your feet on the blocks. You wouldn't want your knees up high like this. In general, you want your knees to be just slightly lower than your hips for good alignment. That is what you will want to do. So you will just want to make sure your feet can touch the floor if at all possible. Now, no, it's never going to be perfect, right? If you end up going to a coffee shop or hanging out at a friend's house, you're not going to be able to get all of these pieces all the time. That is okay. We are working to get the proper alignment more of the time than not. In all of the work that we do, it's less about perfection and more about shifting bad patterns to good patterns the majority of the time. So don't freak out if you end up somewhere and your feet are dangling or you have no back support. Don't worry too if you get into a place and you find like, oh, I'm sitting really terribly. The body can handle that every once in a while. We just don't want to be putting it into bad positions all the time. Okay, so those are the main principles with sitting in a chair. Now, when it comes to sitting on the ground, let me just adjust this so that I can bring it down to the floor a little bit better. There we go. Okay, when it comes to sitting on the floor, like if we are playing with our kids or doing something like that. Wow, the camera is very crooked. Sorry about that. Happens when I adjust it on the fly. This is another time where I really love having a block nearby because a block can give you options that you don't have otherwise. So if your kids are playing on the floor, you want to play with them, but you find that when you sit, for a lot of us, when we sit cross-legged on the floor, we tend to be like this, right? Anytime we are in this position, we're crunching, we're putting pressure, we're squashing this abdominal balloon that I call it, which increases the pressure. That puts more pressure on our diastasis if we have one, or our pelvic floor. So we want to make sure that we're in good alignment when we're on the floor. But you might have tightness that doesn't allow that to happen. So if that's you, use this block. So the block you can do lots of things with. You can take it up and sit kind of like this, right? This helps get my spine in a better position. You can take this and go against a wall so that you're able to sit up with back support. That's really nice. You can also take it and sit on your knees and then turn it. So now it's, can you see that? Why is it so hard to get the camera at the right spot? There we go. Sitting like this, I can come sit on it, and then I can take my knees back behind me and just, now I'm sitting as if I were sitting up on my heels, but a lot less pressure on my knees, a lot less pressure on my hips. And again, same thing, you could always slide up against a wall. For some people, it can be comfortable to sit on the block cross-legged, right? Again, slide up against a wall, you've got back support. So lots of options available to you when you start using the block. And I think the best thing to keep in mind is that variety is ideal. You don't want to always be sitting in the same way. The body is made to do lots of different types of movement. So the more you can give it lots of different types of positions, the more adaptable it is. Just know, if you tend to go to one side more than another, right? So some people like to sit, with feet to one side. Really try to make sure that you vary it up and you go to the other side too, to create balance, if that tends to be your pattern. Okay, so that's my recommendation for when you're just kind of chilling out with the kids on the floor. It can be really nice to have a block nearby to give you options. Now let's talk about relaxing. So first thing I want to say about this is when I first start teaching people this, they're like, so what does this mean? Can I never just like chill out on the couch and watch a movie? No, that's not what I'm saying. And in fact, relaxation is very important for the body. Giving your body a chance to allow all of those muscles to relax and not work is very, very helpful for the muscle tone of the body. Muscles are only strong when they can relax fully. A muscle that's constantly engaged can't then engage even more to meet the demand that you put on it. So we want to make sure that our muscles are getting the chance to relax fully. So what does that mean? That means when you want to chill out, do it. It means do it, allow yourself to relax completely. And yes, let's set you up in a way that you feel let's set you up in a way that is the ideal for your body when you are relaxing. So what that means is try not to collapse into your couch. This is what tends to happen in a couch, right? It just like sucks us up. We get vacuumed into the couch. We are really rounding. We're really putting pressure here on our belly. So if you want to sit on the couch, same thing as in a chair, get a towel, get a small pillow, put it behind your low back, just so that you don't do this, right? You don't collapse. You've got something that is holding you here, and then you can relax the rest of the body. Another option, lay down. Laying down is a great way to allow all the muscles to relax without putting any pressure on any part of your body, like any of the core muscles. So go ahead and let yourself lay down on the couch, lay down on the floor, and really allow yourself to relax. The main thing to keep in mind though, when you are relaxing, is just try to avoid this constant tucking, dumping into that low back area. Just give yourself a little bit of support to do that. One other thing that can really help with the relaxation is when you get that towel behind your low back, it can also be really nice to put a pillow like at the top of the couch behind your head, and then you can really let all the muscles relax and enjoy that time that you are giving to yourself of doing nothing. There is a lot of value in that as well. Okay, so that is everything I have for sitting. Let me know if you have any more questions about that. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. Bye.